our session today is presented by Miriam, and she's going to be giving you a little bit more information about herself and what she'll be covering today. Thanks. I'll pass it to her now.
Thanks. Hello, everybody. My name is Miriam Ibarra. I am the QDAS product owner for Portal and User Services. I'm really excited about the opportunity today to, one, give you a demo of the new D&A portal, but also to be able to talk through some of the key areas of it. As mentioned earlier, the portal will be updated regularly with new content to ensure that you have the latest and greatest training content, in addition to much more to help facilitate your day-to-day tasks. If you could go to the next slide. So on April 12th, we successfully released the new D&A portal. If you had the opportunity to go check it out, you might have noticed that a lot of the content that was previously available in Confluence is now over in Portal now. The Confluence pages were archived on April 26th for only the content that's moved over to Portal. We do have a few pages that we're still working on to support moving the remaining content over from Confluence. However, in the meantime, we do have redirects set up to take you back to that specific Confluence page. And these include, actually, I'll go over that in the next slide, sorry. We also have, we also have with our navigation bar, it was designed to ensure that you can easily find what you're looking for. This includes and covers everything from the new training hub section and the tool specific pages, quick access to instructions for requesting access, support, and then the latest news and events section. Next slide, please. Thank you. Our goal for the D&A portal is for it to become the new centralized system to access everything you need in one location instead of having to look through multiple locations. We have several enhancements planned, our highest priority being to finish those pages that I mentioned to come off Confluence completely. In addition to Portal being that central location for content and tool access, we also are starting to work towards self-service features and functionality, starting with data sharing. We are also planning to provide the ability to hear from you with a new feedback section, and we want to hear from you to ensure that we're providing the best user experience possible. To add to this, we will be setting up user interviews specifically for the training hub, so please keep an eye out for those email communications that will be coming out soon, asking for participants, or if you are interested in participating, you can drop a message in the chat here and let us know that you'd be interested in participating in these interviews. And then with this next slide, we just wanted to provide you with a quick reference since all the information from DataCamp goes out. This would be something that you could refer back to since there are new naming conventions and entirely new sections in Portal that didn't exist previously in Confluence. A couple examples of these include the training hub, tool-specific sections, the request access, and the FAQ pages, which were previously under the training and onboarding section in Confluence. This is the same for the news and events, which was previously community news and announcements. And then we do have a new section under the news and events, which is called newsletters, and it will contain all current and past newsletters that have been sent out. These will still continue to be sent out through email, but the newsletters page is a quick page for you to access it in case you've misplaced the email or accidentally deleted it and can't find it. Areas that are still in Confluence that I've mentioned that we have the redirects for include the data resource section, which is for the data catalog and data contributor. The past events under news and events, which will have all the past data camps and town hall content available there. And then also under support, the D&A request forms are still over on the Confluence side. As these pages are built out and the new functionality is released, we will update those redirects that are pointing to Confluence to the actual page within Portal. And then with that, if I can take over sharing, I will give a quick demo of everything that I've covered. All right. Hopefully you guys can all see my page.
Yep, we can.
Perfect, thank you. So as I mentioned, we do have this navigation along the top. This is your landing page for Portal. I think it was dropped in the chat. The URL was dropped in the chat as well. And the purpose of the navigation bar, just like any navigation bar, is for you to easily find what you're looking for. And we have them divided under specific sections. So our training hub is under training, and then we link you out to tool-specific training pages as well. We have the request access, which will take you to areas to provide detailed instructions on how to request access to the tools. Our data resources, this is an example of the redirect with the data catalog and data contributor taking you back to Confluence. Our news and events section is where you would find all the latest news and events, the newsletters and our past events, which, as I mentioned, is redirecting to Confluence, but that will be updated. And then our support section to provide guidance on if you need to log a ticket or look for frequently asked questions, and then the D&A request form redirecting back to Confluence as well. We have several ways to navigate to any of the pages besides the navigation bar. If you wanted to go to Training Hub, you can access it by clicking on one of our quick link buttons. It'll take you to the Training Hub page, which gives you a breakdown of each tool and expands with specific training articles that have been built out for you to reference in regards to the specific tool that you're looking at. As I pointed out, we do have page specific. So if you wanted to look at only Portal, for example, you can navigate to it from here, from the navigation bar, or from the previous page, and it'll take you over to the page specific for the specific tool that you're looking at. We also provide the accordion for requesting access here as well, with the step-by-step on how to get it. In addition, with the request access taking you to the overall request access page. Again, very similar layout to the Training Hub, where you can expand the accordion and see the individual steps for each of the tools and how to request access to them. Also, from the landing page, you can quickly access the support section. This will take you over to the support page where we give you guidance on getting technical support, collaboration areas for the Slack community, and then, as I mentioned, the D&A requests are here. This link will redirect you back to Confluence. You'll still use the form that you're familiar with until we are able to migrate that over. And then for news and events, I'll just do that from the navigation bar. This is another key area where you'll be able to access the latest news or announcements that we have. It'll also show you upcoming events. So as you can see here, the Data Camp Day 2 is present, and then upcoming maintenance events, town halls. This will be expanded on as well to provide a calendar option where you can open the calendar and see all the events that are planned out and available. Also, as I mentioned, the newsletter section, this will give you access to all of the past newsletters and the most current newsletter. I will add a little caveat here that you do have to be logged in to Portal to be able to actually open up these PDFs. So that section is where you see the tool section and my access on the authenticated side. And then I think that we tried for the landing page, we tried to make sure that we are displaying the most recent, most current, up-to-date information for you, so it's easy to find just directly on the landing page versus having to search. We do have a frequently asked questions section where we can display which ones are getting the most hits. and which ones we think are going to be the most beneficial for you guys to have quick access to. I know SAS has been a hot topic today, so just we'll pull this up really quick and show you the FAQs specific to SAS that have been discussed today during the call are available here, outlining the specific question and the answer to that question. This page will continue growing as we get more questions and are able to answer them. So this will be your best location to find SAS related Q&A. I think with that, I can open it up to any questions that anybody might have.
Before taking over, Miriam, I'm going to keep you screen sharing just in case you need to navigate anywhere and show everyone.
Sure.
But one question we had was, what is the difference between my portal authenticated and then the public portal?
Yes, so good question. The public portal is essentially all the content that you were able to find within Confluence. It's anything that was accessible over there is now accessible here. It does not require you, other than the newsletter section right now, it does not require you to log into what's been called the authenticated portal. The authenticated portal side, or my portal, is this section where you would be able to access the tools that you have access to or requested access to. But also will show you the My Access tab, which will provide you with your specific organization that you're associated to and all the CDR data sets that you have access to. I apologize, this is a test account, so let me see if I can get one of these to load with some data. So examples like this based off of your DUA that's been uploaded. And then if you are a DUA owner, the My DUA tab where you can upload new DUAs as your current one is about to expire. So that's the two differences from Portal, the two very specific sides of it. So the public side versus the authenticated side.
Thanks so much. So another question we had was, how can I access my portal and public portal?
Yep. So I think it was put in very early into the data camp chat, but we can drop this URL back in there. This one URL will take you to the portal as a whole. And then from there, instead of seeing hello and your username, you would see the login button. You would log in with your CMS credentials to access the authenticated side. This will update to say my portal and displays with this green color for you to be able to navigate over to that side. But from either side with that single URL, you can access both the public and the authenticated portal.
Sorry, realized I was still on mute. So we had actually a question from a session or two ago now, but can you speak to this as well? But will the current D&A Confluence site go dark at some point or be like shut down or archived?
Yes. So right now, anything that is available in the portal that you can access today, those Confluence pages were archived on April 26th. We left those up so that if you had bookmarks saved, you could still access those, but then also be redirected back to portal. So any content that you see here now has been archived in Confluence. And then as those pages that are still redirecting to Confluence are built out, for example, the data contributor page, they will redirect you back to those Confluence pages. And as we build out the page to support this content, that redirect would be updated to take you to where the data contributor page would live within Portal. And then that page in Confluence would be archived as well.
I mean, actually, I got a question as a direct message in our last session or the session prior, but basically asking about the data camp resources specifically because they're currently still living in our data camp space in Confluence in our past event spot. Can you kind of speak? And they asked, like, eventually will those be transferred over as well?
Yeah.
Can you speak to that a bit?
Yep. That is also one of our pages that is still redirecting, similar to the data contributors page where you can still access the past town hall and data camp content. And as we build out the past events page and migrate the content over, this would be another page that not only would the redirect be updated to take you to the new past events page, but also the content would be available there as well. And then the actual past events Confluence page would be archived. So we have 4 of those just to make sure I'm calling them out. And that was also the purpose of that last slide for you guys to be able to refer back to. So data catalog, data contributor, past events, and then the DAR request will redirect you back to Confluence, those four pages or areas.
And just to highlight one more time, no information will be lost. So all things will be shared on Confluence, and then the portal team will also make sure that they're migrated to portal. So all resources we share on Confluence from this data camp will migrate over, and nothing will be lost in transition. So for now, they'll live there, but they'll be moved over as well. So
yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. Okay, so we've had a lot of questions today so far on like where the Q&A will live and all of these things. So I know it's a concern, but that will all be there. And I know we've had so many awesome resources today. We just got another question, Miriam. What are the example actions things that users will most likely need to log into the D&A portal for? So in comparison with access to the information we'll have. So it sounds like they're kind of asking about the access between what things can they access with public portal, and then what things will they be able to access by logging in, and what's the difference? What will they lose by not logging in?
Right. So all the content that's available on what we're calling the public side of portal is accessible without being logged into portal, the authenticated side, other than newsletters. To be able to, we give you this brief breakdown of what is in the issue, and then you would have the access to the actual newsletter PDF that gets emailed out. This is the only section right now within portal that you need to be logged into to be able to access that PDF. Everything else within the public side of portal is accessible. You don't have to be logged in. And with the authenticated side that we released back in November, this My Portal section, to access any of these sections over here, you would have to be logged into your account to be able to access the tools or to see what access you have available. And then again, if you're a DUA owner, this tab is where you would upload new DUAs. So those are the 4 big areas that you have to be logged in for.
So this information I know hasn't been added yet, but I wasn't sure if you had it yet. But since the town halls and the data camp share similar information as the newsletters, do you envision that the links for those recordings and the material shared will be under the authenticated like login spot, or will that be on the public side?
The plan is for that to be on the public side, since the video and the content is accessible without any kind of logging in currently. There have been some discussions around if it should be on the authenticated side, and I think we're still having conversations around that. But most of what we publish currently, if not all of it, I think is already public, so it would live on the public side unless there's something very, very specific that we would want to keep behind the authenticated side for security reasons.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
the information was super helpful. We are going to transition back here. Okay. So at this point, that is going to wrap up this session. Thank you so much to Miriam for presenting today. Our next presentation is going to be Python for SaaS programmers with Colton Rathie from 3:30 to 4:15. So that's just in about like 5.5, 6-ish minutes. This session will utilize a Databricks notebook for the demo portion. Laura's going to be dropping a link for that specific notebook in our Zoom chat. She just did that there. You can access it prior to the start of the session, but we'll also be sharing it if you do need to use this time to take a break. We'll also be sharing it at the start of that session, but if you want to get to that now, you can. So we are going to be taking a short 5-ish minute break and then regrouping at 3:30 for our next session. Thank you so much, and we will see you then.